So go ahead and start the recording, please,
Yep,
Keith.
I've started.
Okay. And everybody should be able to see my desktop. Okay, so this orientation is for new students, incoming students for either the summer or the fall semester coming up. Please always email us to msmarketing@UT Dallas. You will absolutely get a faster response. When it goes to our personal emails, there's like I have 180 students this semester, companies, interview things. So that inbox gets overwhelmed, whereas this one's dedicated and it's monitored very frequently, the MS marketing. So let's go ahead and get started. So we will make all this available, all the documents we make reference to, including this presentation and a link to the recording in case you can't stay for the full session. We will send out a link by tomorrow. One thing we want to mention is we have a group of students that have volunteered as sort of ambassadors. It's called the MS Marketing Executive Leadership Student Council, and you can see some of the members that are shown here. And they host a series of events throughout spring and fall. There's no activity taking place during the summer. And what they do is they do like fun events, they have peer-to-peer sessions. And I want to mention one that's going to be coming up April 3rd through the 7th. And through Teams, which you will have access to, you can see what days and times throughout this window they are available for you to come and have like a virtual Q&A with them about tracks, about courses. It can be about, finding an apartment, just whatever you wish. But the focus for this particular session is more about courses for the summer and the fall. So keep that in mind. And then we'll send this out and you can connect with them through LinkedIn, Instagram. They have also a WhatsApp group that's set up. So a couple of things. One of the things that you really should be thinking about, this is a master's degree, not an undergraduate, is make sure you identify any skill gaps you have and work on these over the course of the future semesters. If you're a U.S. citizen or resident and can work, you have got to get a full-time or part-time job in marketing. The worst thing you can do is not have a job, be a full-time student, not have much work experience from the past, and think you're going to get a good paying job. They do want you to have 3 years of experience before you can start demanding, wages over, let's say, $75,000. The other thing to consider doing is attend and especially volunteer for professional associations outside of UTD clubs. So we've got a lot of clubs and we're going to send all that information to you all once the semester starts. Again, in the summer, unfortunately, there's really no activity. But there's a lot of professional associations that you should be going to that unfortunately most students don't, but it's a missed opportunity. Select courses that get jobs, not A's or the popular professor necessarily. Make sure that you're taking courses that really will help you get that better paying job or promotion. The other thing is you should start your professional portfolio, especially if you don't have a lot of relevant work experience. What I mean by that is whenever you do homeworks or group projects throughout the degree, save those, take screenshots of those, upload some of those to LinkedIn to show some of the quality work that you've done. So, that's something that can help your resume if you don't have a lot of relevant work experience in marketing. The other thing we see with students that are successful, somewhat successful, and not successful is the more successful ones are very inquisitive. They have a lot of curiosity. They go and they read things outside of the required textbooks in the course. They subscribe to newsletters and marketing and digital or in analytics or in product management, what have you. They also read a lot of business publications like Wall Street Journal, Forbes. Some of these are free. Some of them, like Wall Street Journal and Forbes, are not, but we have a access that you can get once you are enrolled at the library here at UTD. It is a digital version, but it's something that you should do so you can start to understand how the economy impacts business, how that impacts marketing, which companies are doing well, which categories are doing well during inflation versus others that are not doing very well because of inflationary periods, and things of that nature. So push your boundaries and, definitely cut down on the Netflix or on, social media, and spend a bigger percentage of your time, not just on schoolwork, but on business and marketing, newsletters and associations. The other thing is marketing has become very software driven. So you do want to acquire proficiency with related software. The software you use varies by what area you're going to get into. So if you're thinking of getting into the analytics, marketing analytics space, Python would be an absolute, requirement, sequel to. If you're going to be going into the digital space, things like Adobe, Google Analytics, Google Ads, Facebook Ads, et cetera, et cetera. So software proficiency is really important, especially when you don't have a lot of work experience. Software can help bridge that gap with an employer. Uh, so your best chance for quality jobs, I guess I should say, are make sure that your skills align with those areas in marketing that are growing: digital, product management, analytics. There are other areas like traditional advertising and branding that are very small areas. They're not growing. Salaries are pretty stagnant. So you got to keep that in mind as you're picking a specialty area within marketing. Again, that in-demand software is important, and there's just no substitute for previous work experience. Definitely, students that get better paying jobs have had some previous work experience. So if you don't have any, that's why it's so important you get internships or part-time, full-time jobs if you're eligible to work in the U.S. Now, one of the things that has been occurring is that some percentage of our students have been, the number that have gone into probation has been increasing. There's also within that group, they really don't know what they want to take. They don't understand the degree plan. So they struggle a lot. And we'll talk about this further, not just now, but in a future email and in future webinars. But understand that you would get in probation if your GPA is less than 3.0. And one of the things that we see is approximately 5% of students, after they listen to this orientation, or they never even bothered to listen to it, where we explain the degree, plan, course recommendations, they approach us and ask us questions that they should know if they attended or listened or comprehended to some of the guidelines and recommendations we're going to give. So, if there's something that you don't grasp, definitely this is going to be recorded, provided to you. Go back and listen to it. You are in graduate school. If you don't start to acquire that discipline of understanding, reading thoroughly, you will have a lot of issues. And that's one of the key traits we see in those that end up in probation. They are just not, don't have the initiative to, stay on task with that class or with different things. Uh, when we see that, I mean, it really is a sign to us that, the student just doesn't have that initiative, or even worse, we find some that don't even understand our explanations. So, the GMAT GRE waiver for some of you may have been a good thing, but it has its downside because the GMAT GRE is a good predictor of whether you understand some of the higher level reading that's necessary in graduate school. Okay, this is not simple, I don't know, a newsletter or something. A lot of these courses involve managerial level comprehension in questions and in scenarios. There's a lot of nuance, etc. So um, we see that as one of the big contributors to those who end up in probation. So, please, this is an area to work on if you are weak and are struggling to kind of understand and need a lot of help with things that you shouldn't need help on. Okay. So reading comprehension is really not optional, especially in a master's in marketing program. Marketing is not math. There's a lot of written, spoken, reading that is a big component of many of our courses. So again, if there's something you don't grasp, absolutely go back and listen to this recording. So what happens is if you end up in that situation where your GPA is below 3.0, you cannot be a TA. Obviously, you're not going to qualify for any scholarship, and you're not also going to be eligible to have an internship. So we have had situations where a student has a 2.9999 average, but the university has a policy where they do not round up GPAs. So even if you're 0.001 away from a 3.0, you are still on probation and you cannot do an internship, which was sad in a few cases because they actually had applied for and received an offer for an internship. So keep that in mind, focus on having, a decent, you don't have to have a 4.0 by any means, but at least, be 3.3, 3.4 to be a little bit on the safe side, especially in case in one course you drop and it's going to pull you down maybe to a 3.1, which is borderline, but at least you're not on probation. And the other thing, at some point, if your grades, if you don't get out of probation after like 2 long semesters, you might be dismissed from the program. So it is a sad thing, but also at the end of the day, it's better to kind of realize if you're not going to make it, to not continue to spend money semester after semester and never graduate, right? So the sooner you are aware and either take corrective action, or if you don't think that you have the time or interest to take that corrective action, it may be better to just not continue to spend money. Unfortunately, all this has also increased the number of cases of academic dishonesty, and that'll result in, unfortunately, many think they can skirt the system, but many, many, many are caught, and it results in a 0 grade and the possible being expelled from the university and the program. So please, whatever you do, better have a low GPA, but a low GPA and cheating is really, kind of a kiss of death, so to speak. So one of the things that you should, if you haven't done so yet, is start to become familiar with our degree plan. Now, you guys are going to be, if you're entering in the fall, you're going to fall under the fall 2023 degree plan. Those of you that are starting this summer technically are in the fall 2022 cycle, academic cycle that includes fall 22, spring 23, and summer 23. So that's the current degree plan you'll see, but really you probably will want to follow this fall semester 23 degree plan. It'll become publicly available in June. We will make it available to you after this webinar. And one of the things that you should understand is kind of go through, look at the core courses that you have to take at some point throughout your degree, and make sure that you take them. Start to think, not in this first semester. In the first semester, it is not that important. Start to think of what area or track you're going to pursue. So we're going to talk about that process to decide what track to pursue. A lot of the information that we are making available to you is also available in our website. If you go to the Masters in Marketing /curriculum button over here, You will see a lot of the documents that will be showing later on during this presentation. This degree plan, like I said, after June, you'll see fall 23, which is what we're going to share with you. So one of the main questions we get is students don't know when they're starting out which track to pick, okay? So it kind of goes back to this thing with initiative. We've talked to a lot of employers. This study was done by the World Economic Forum. They haven't done another one, so it's 2020, but it's really has not changed. And the two top skills is complex problem solving and critical thinking. This is the School of Management. This is a graduate program. So it is absolutely expected and assumed that you have these skills, okay? But many students don't coming into the program. So it's something you absolutely need to be really aware of if you have a deficiency in this area. And one way to start to overcome this deficiency you may have in solving problems and critical thinking is this whole process about which track to pick, which courses to pick. You have got to be developing this habit. Now, here's the thing. It's a discovery process. For some students, it may take several days because they already have some work experience and pretty much know they want to go into, for example, digital, okay? And they know they do not want to go into analytics. So for some of you, it may be quicker, faster to figure out which area to go to. Maybe you already know, but for some of you, it might take weeks. But that's fine. In the first semester, again, you do not need to know or decide which track to pick, okay? So how do you decide which path to follow, which track to follow? Really, it is based on your reading, research, and it's really important, an internal critical assessment of your skills and weaknesses and the courses that you've taken in the past and need to take in the future. So let's look at a couple of these different tools that we provide you to help with that decision. Straight up the camera. So there's really like a three-step thing that you have to do. We find when we talk to students later that probably 25% of students follow these three steps and actually take the time to get to know what are the different career options out there within marketing. And those are the more successful ones. There's absolutely no doubt. Those that we later talk to throughout different encounters or meetings are asking us questions that they should know at this stage. Just, yesterday I had one student that's been here 2 semesters and was asking, what courses to pick for a specific track. But those are in the degree plan. But they were unaware that the courses are arranged by track also, what courses to take if you're following, say, digital, et cetera. So the first thing you should do, and there's a link to this in the presentation, is it is long. It's a 24-minute video. So I think this is kind of step number one. And a lot of students just don't want to take that first step. So if you don't want to take that first step, it's very hard for you to later not have contradictions in your degree plan, regrets because you did this and you should have done this, not getting good outcomes with your job. So if you're going to buy a car, most people, if they're going to buy a car and the expense of the degree plan is similar, maybe more than some cars, less than other cars, but it's a big investment. So you have to ask yourself, is it worth 24 minutes for me to try to make sure that I get a good return on my investment? So this video goes through A to Z on what are the different considerations for you to decide which track to pick, okay? So it's 24 minutes. I'm not going to do it now. Otherwise, this would be like a 2-hour presentation with all the other things we have to talk about. So definitely this is step one. The next step is we had some point written a lot of blogs about different functional areas, but we saw a lot of students were not reading them, so we simplified it and created these tables that basically list out all the different functional job areas. For example, as you can see here, marketing automation, e-commerce, and it's the wide gamut. I mean, we go into advertising, into branding, into product management, customer shopper insights, marketing analytics, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, social media jobs. And we tell you, we've gone through approximately at this point 25, 30 job listings. We do this every year. We look at, what is the current kind of definition for each one of these areas. The job postings, on average, how many years of experience do they want, right? So marketing automation, 1 to 2, e-commerce, they want a little bit more, 3 or more. What are the average salaries? How big is the job market? And again, this fluctuates, as you know, the economy is a little bit shaky, and this has probably shrunk since we did this in October of this past 22. Uh, what is the software that constantly shows up in some of these job postings? What are the top skills that appear in those job postings, right? What keeps being mentioned over and over? And we tend to look at large companies because they tend to do a better job in the job description and the expectations, and they have higher salaries, so they're more desirable job opportunities. And then what we do here is we cross list what courses we have that help you acquire these skills, okay? So when you watch this first video, you start to get a sense of which areas of more interest to your skills, to your background, to job opportunities. And then, you don't have to go and read through all the 30 or so jobs that we have in the spreadsheet. You can just focus on those that you have an interest to. You can just scan it by salaries, by number of jobs, years of experience. Uh, but then this is going to help you once you start to narrow down what are your options. What are the courses you should be taking? Let's say if you want to be in e-commerce, for example, right? Okay, so here are courses that you really should be looking to take at some point in your degree plan. So that's how this kind of step 2 takes place. And then once you're going to start, now you know what courses to take, but there's always like uh, more than one option sometimes that you feel are going to be beneficial, and you have to decide between those 2 or 3. So the thing to do is to look at the syllabi, but to save you time, we've also have a document that lists all the marketing courses. We don't do this for the non-marketing courses because literally there's over, I think it's like 300 different courses offered at the graduate level by all the different departments, accounting, finance, et cetera. So we just can't look at all their syllabi and keep this updated. But for this, you have a side-by-side comparison of the course, the prerequisite, softwares that are used, if any, if there's any certification that's part of the course, what are the topics that you have, okay? So this is a document that, again, it's posted on our website in case you misplaced the document that we provide for you here by tomorrow. And this is a good reference for you to have when trying to decide, okay? Uh, so there's just no substitute for you doing these 3 steps. If you come to me and say, tell me what track to take, and unfortunately I get those situations a lot, I say, well, like, what are you interested in and why? But that's not the type of in-depth self-assessment you have to make, research that you have to make. Because at the end of the day, say, well, take digital. Well, what should I take in digital? Well, the courses in the digital track. Uh, and it's, going to be a 40,000-foot recommendation when what you should be doing is really seeing what is the area that plays to your strength and figuring out what courses to take. So now at a very high level, I'm going to give you an overview. I cover some of this in the video also, but I'm going to give it here now because I know some percentage won't see the video, but I do want you to understand this. So the advertising and branding track, we mainly recommend this for U.S. citizens or residents who are working already within advertising or branding and want a promotion. The reason we do this is because there's, again, not a lot of jobs. They're not very high paying. For those of you that are international students, really, they rarely have ever hire an international student for this. I mean, you might get an internship, but that's never going to translate into any kind of post graduation offer. So, um, the other track that we have is the Consumer and Shopper Insights track. So basically, we recommend this for both US citizens, international. It has a lot of visa sponsorship opportunities after marketing analytics. This is the next highest one. Very good growth rate, good paying jobs. Somebody that's been in this field for 3+ years is making over $100,000. Uh, Now, you do have to be strong in the quantitative area, and specifically things like basic statistics, manipulation of numbers. So that there is that component, but it's not any kind of programming like in marketing analytics, any kind of advanced statistics. Statistics might be 15 to maybe at most 30% of the job. The majority is marketing business type roles. Okay. So it's a nice combination. You're trying to looking at data that's been provided to you by the analytics people is trying to make recommendations, find opportunities, problems, insights. Like you make recommendations to increase the price by 5%, to cut costs in this other thing by 8%, to spend more media budget allocation in just making this up in PPC, in social media ads, and in events, and cut back on some of these other options. So this is a type of thing that involves some creativity, a lot of business savvy, marketing savvy, segmentation, positioning, basic principles that you learn in marketing are applied here, but it's very data driven. It's not like a creative thing like some aspects of advertising might be. Uh, so there's a lot of presentation skills that are needed, data visualization. But again, it's a good track if you're comfortable with numbers, you're not scared of them, but it's not, 100% or 80% or even 70% uh, statistics for things that are very math uh, focused. So you can see the courses, we have core courses that we have, and then we have all these different electives that we have. The next one is the digital track, and that again we recommend for all students. High growth, good pay. There's many different specialized area. You can specialize in web analytics, social media, PPC, SEO, e-commerce, marketing automation. There are very specialized areas within digital. Some have better pay, like web analytics is more at the high end. Social media is at the lower end. Uh, you have to decide which area, you have more passion for and better skills for, maybe more on the creative side. Social media, might be a better fit for you than say web analytics. Uh, and for international students, really your focus should be not on social media, but more on the marketing automation, e-commerce, and especially the web analytics area. So not a lot of statistics or math, but in modern business, there is got to be some statistics, other it's not a creative field. It's driven by data, and statistics helps you make sense of within that data what's relevant and what's not. So, it's very basic. You will need to know a minimum of statistics in most of these tracks. Probably advertising and branding would be the least. Um, so then we have the marketing analytics track, and we have within that track these two recommended core courses, and then all these different electives to choose from. Recommended for international, domestic, a lot of visa sponsorship opportunities, high growth, high pay. But here's the catch. You must be very strong in statistics and today in programming, because Python, a programming language, and R too, are really important software skills that you must know. SQL is another one you really must know. So how do you know if this is for you? So if until now you really haven't had any strong statistics background, you're not an engineer, you got a B in statistics, you take statistics here in UTD and you struggle with it, definitely marketing analytics is not for you. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, it's not for me. I would never want to do marketing analytics. I would probably be doing something else, law or something, if that's what marketing entails. So there's nothing absolutely wrong with, not wanting to get immersed into a very statistics focused area. I would say marketing analytics is probably 65, 70% statistics and economics, uh, specifically econometrics, and really only about 30% or so is marketing. Okay. So, keep that in mind. If you're not good at programming, this is not for you either. Okay. Another one is track that we have, specialized track is product management. You can see for yourself these core courses up here, all the different electives. Sometimes we have what we call tier one and tier two, and it's not that one course is per se better than another one from a just, you know, quality point of view. It's just that the topics in the courses here in the tier one are much more relevant than product management topics than some of these tier two that, there's some touch point, but not as much, not as strong as tier one. Okay. Again, not that it's anything wrong with the tier two. It's just, for example, international marketing, advertising. It's not as relevant and important to product management as some of these other things like consulting, technology, new product development, agile project management, etc. Okay. Very high growth. For international students, the only way to break into this, it is hard, is if you have past work experience in a particular field or industry, especially if you have a technical undergraduate degree like in computer science or engineering. Uh, you must be strong in business, not just marketing. It's a wide range of things like project management and financial knowledge, very, very high paying areas. Okay. And then this is the track actually that a lot of our students follow, and I'll explain to you why. Basically, you build your own combination of courses you take. You can combine courses from all the different tracks, from many courses from other non-marketing areas, like from IT, from business analytics, from entrepreneurship, etc. Uh, so let me give you a couple of, I guess, highlights about this track. If you're a domestic student and you're doing the degree plan 100% online remote, this is really the only track that you can pursue and focus on, because the digital track, there are some courses in the digital track like advanced web analytics, the e-commerce, that's not available online. Whereas here you have a lot of flexibility just because there's a wide range of many different courses. So it gives you the most flexibility. It's good if you are working for a small company, family business, uh, where you're going to be doing many different things, not just digital, but market research and some new product launches. Like for startups, this is a good track for you to follow. Senior marketing people that want to get a master's degree and want to get a breadth of different areas, this is another one that's a good track for you. So again, it's kind of build your own focus, so to speak. So again, just to reiterate, This information is available on our website, especially some that I'm going to be showing you here shortly. Now, some additional track information, and this is a really important slide. The track name, digital product management, does not appear in your degree. In your diploma, it'll just say MS Marketing. It will not specify your track, okay? The reason that the school quit putting track names on the degree plan is because then you had no flexibility. If you started out in digital and then you say, I don't want to do digital after 2 semesters, and you're moving to another track with no digital courses, you would not be able to do the other track unless you want to do, more than 36 credit hours. So this allows complete flexibility. So the tracks are for guidance purposes, okay? If you come to me and you say, I'm going to take the digital track, what courses should I take? The answer is take the core courses in the digital track and then pick from those electives by looking at the skills, that they have, the software that they have, etc. So you can switch. You can start on one track, switch to the others. So there's complete flexibility. It's just for informational guidance purposes. Mix and match. If you're going to do any kind of major mix and matching, just do the marketing management track. Again, it doesn't appear in your degree plan. You can be basically doing a digital or an analytics, but following the marketing management track for maximum flexibility. So really the main thing is take those courses that align with the skills that you need to get into the job that you think you want to be pursuing. Hopefully, advising has talked to you about waivers. If not, on the website for advising, there's forms. If you have taken undergraduate courses within the past 6 years and made a B or better, let's say introduction or principles to marketing or market research or consumer behavior, and you meet the criteria that we have listed here, then you can submit a waiver. And what it means is you don't have to take, for example, the graduate version of market research, the graduate version of consumer behavior or of marketing management. You still have to do 12 courses, 36 credit hours. But now instead of a repetitive course, like say market research that you took in your undergraduate, you can substitute that for an elective. If you haven't done this, and we have sent this waiver explanation in the emails that you were getting when you applied for it and got admitted, etc., definitely this is something you have to do right away before you can sign up. That way you don't have to take the core courses. This is Coursebook. It's just coursebook.utdallas.edu. And this is where you also should go in addition to, your Orion account, so that you can look at a wide range of courses in a much more user-friendly way than you can in Orion. You can use all these different filters here, like you can focus only on marketing courses or only on statistics courses or ITM, etc. You can also look at only graduate level courses, etc. It'll also have the syllabi for many of these courses. Now, right now it's early, so a lot of the syllabi are not up. So if you come across that situation, you can reference our side-by-side comparison of what's in that course, or you can change this filter to a previous semester like spring and see the instructor, see the course, and, with the exception of the deadlines, really the exams, how it's weighed, the projects that there's going to be are going to be the same, okay? Right now, you can see the courses, but you won't be able to enroll until at least the first week of April. As incoming students, it might be a little bit later in April for you. Those graduating in summer are given first preference, graduating in fall, second preference, and so on and so forth. But you do want to enroll on the date that appears in your Orion account, because if you wait, a lot of courses are going to fill up. So keep that in mind. The other thing, there's just a lot of things that we are throwing at you. So again, always, you can always go back and rewind or look at this video. But one of the resources we give you every long semester is this uh, schedule planning guide. So what it is we show you what courses are going to be offered in the next future semester, summer, fall, spring, so that you can see which courses you might want to take in the summer because they're not offered in another semester. So for example, pricing analytics down here is an online course and it's only offered in the summer. So that's a course that you want to take, say you're in the product management track. This helps you say or think, okay, you know what? I was thinking of taking it in the spring of 24, but it's not offered in the spring, so I'm going to take it this summer, okay? Or summer of 24, because usually this follows the same pattern every year. So this is another resource. Pay close attention to the prerequisites. Some courses have no prerequisites, some do have prerequisites, okay? If you have a hold on your account, usually there's like a little bubble or something that will appear next to your hold. And if you click on the bubble or on the link, it takes you to an explanation or message as to the nature of the hold. Like, we haven't received your transcripts or whatever it is. And then it tells you which department to contact. But if it doesn't tell you the department to contact, usually it's a payment thing. So the bursar's office is who you want to contact. And if that's not the party, then it's advising. Okay. We, MS Marketing Program Director, Program Manager, Professor Dickinson, sorry, I forgot to make an introduction initially. We cannot do anything with your holds, okay? We can't even see what hold you have. So if you contact us, all we're going to do is send a copy to advising or the bursar's office because, we can't do anything regarding holds. So what should you take in this first semester? So unless you're waiving, and that's what I mentioned here, you should be taking the following courses. International students have to take 9 credit hours. Domestic students can only take 1 or they can take 2 courses per semester. So number 1 recommendation is you should take the Introduction to Marketing, MKT 6301, no prerequisites. And the reason you definitely need to take it in your first semester, if you're not waiving it, is because it's a prereq for a lot of courses, okay? So definitely take this course. The other course that we recommend is one of the statistics courses is recommended. So there are 3 options to pick from. Traditionally, students would take this basic statistics course, OPRE 6301, and if you were more advanced and wanted to get into the analytics area, you take this 6359 advanced statistics. We have introduced, starting in the fall, not in the summer. If you're starting this summer, you can hold off on taking the statistics course and take it in the fall. But we have a new course that is statistics-based called Marketing by Numbers. It really is meant for students that are not going to be pursuing an analytics, data intensive track like marketing analytics or customer and shopper insights. Uh, it has statistics, but it has a lot less than the other options, OPRE 6301 or 6359. So if you're going to be in the digital track, advertising track, product management track, any of those, this would definitely be probably, unless you want to learn more about statistics, and that's absolutely fine, this would probably be your better choice. A lot of students, this is the first year we do this new course, have gotten C's, F's in statistics, and that was one reason quite a few students ended up on probation. So this course is more statistics, but more other components like data visualization, thinking about problems, techniques for solving problems, marketing formulas. So there's more of a lot more of an emphasis on the marketing side and context than with some of these other statistics courses. But if you, excuse me, if you want to get into the customer and shopper insights, you can still take this course, but then this course is a prereq for many data analysis courses, so that might hinder you. I would recommend, if you're pretty sure you're going to be doing customer and shopper, just take the OPRE 6301. Now, if you're going to be in the marketing analytics area, you absolutely need to take this advanced statistics for data science, and it is difficult. So just be aware of that. But if you're going to be in analytics, this is the level of statistics that you should be acquiring. And then really the other course, main courses to kind of add up to the 9 credit hours is this 6309 Marketing Data Analysis and Research. Co-requisite 6301 and OPRE 6301 in the summer, but in the fall, it will also allow for 6379. So many of you then are going to take 6301, it's marketing by numbers, and the marketing data analysis and research. Some of you, many of you, are going to also take that 1 credit hour professional development. It does not count towards the 36 credit hours. Domestic students can waive it if you have work experience, and there's a form you have to fill out. Now, if you waive some of these courses, like let's say marketing management and market research, so in that case, you're going to have to start getting into some of the electives from the tracks, okay? And we'll talk about that here. Some of them have prerequisites, so you have to look carefully to see if you can or cannot take a certain course. So going back to what course should you take once you start getting into elective. So this is really not for most of you this first semester, okay? For the majority of you who are not waiving courses, this is absolutely, we highly suggest you take these courses. And the reason is because this way you don't have to be set on any track or any electives. You have time to do that research, acclimate yourself, get some of these core courses that are prerequisites for many other courses out of the way, and then start to jump into electives in the future semesters. But if you're going to be taking some electives in this first semester, and let's say you didn't follow kind of those 3 steps to deciding your track, etc. Basically, what we have done here is we've made it easier for you. And for each track, in order of priority, we have listed our top recommendations. So if you come to us and you say, I want to be in the digital advertising track, so I want to take some of those electives this semester. What should I take? Basically, we would pull this out and say, well, take this first priority course, second, third, fourth, fifth. Okay. So you can see for yourself which courses to take from the different electives. They are, again, in order priority, and we do it basically based on how relevant it is to the track and if it's not going to be offered in another semester, or if it's a very basic introduction to that track area. Okay. All right, so let me quickly go through some of these courses. So I'm good, since this is a new course, I'm going to put a little more emphasis. I'm not going to cover all the other core courses, but for incoming students, this is a top recommendation unless you're pursuing the analytics, customer insights area. Now, you can't take OPRE 6301 or the data science OPRE and later come back and take this one. It is a core course, so you either take it now or there's no need to take it later. As I mentioned, 60-70% statistics, very similar to the OPRE 61, but the rest of it's going to be more the critical thinking, problem solving aspects of data-driven marketing. And you can see the description for yourself, just shows you some of the math topics, formulas that it's going to include that are very, very useful in marketing and business, ratios, indexes, return on investment, causal experiments, lifetime value, et cetera, et cetera. Also, a lot of hands-on Excel-driven exercises, like to calculate some of these different formulas, et cetera. It's going to use software. It's going to have some slides, like this one is 4 problem sets, 25 questions, 74 minutes. So like mini quizzes are going to be built into the course. And this is in no particular order. It's really just based on the number 6321. And this one gives you an overview. What are the topics if you're pursuing the digital track that are covered in this course? So you can read this for yourself. Otherwise, the presentation here is going to go on for another hour, but you can get a sense for what's covered. This advertising and promotional strategy too. The courses that I'm listing here tend to either not have a prereq or allow you to take it concurrently, as in this case with Marketing 6301. So this is for those in the advertising track, those in the digital track. This is another elective option if, for those of you that are waiving courses. And you can see for yourself some of the information. Very high paying area. 110,000 is the national average for this job. I know quite a few students that have gone through the program. They tend to be the highest paying graduates if they got into this area or marketing analytics. One track we quit offering is the professional sales because nobody really wanted to pursue that track. Sadly, because it was our very, very best paying alums pursued that track and are $170,000, $240,000. But again, we couldn't offer it because just there wasn't enough demand. The courses would be canceled, et cetera. But professional sales is definitely a really lucrative field if you're good at it. The other one is this introduction to programming. It's going to cover Python and R. It's not going to be, you're not going to come out, as a top flight programmer. It is an introduction to some of the key areas of it. It's a good way to see if you're on the fence about pursuing, say, marketing analytics. You can certainly self-study it, and that's not a bad option. Or if you're pretty keen on getting into this area and learning this skill, this would be a good option to consider. And you can see how popular this is. A survey that was done of all the different programming languages that different marketing analytics people use, and you can see Python and SQL are very much at the top. So this one covers Python, this course, and R. We have SQL in another course, Database Foundations. This is kind of a follow-on to the web analytics. Again, for those of you pursuing digital, this is really great knowledge to have. We have one of the best programs in terms of digital in the nation. There's probably only one other program that even has an advanced web analytics course. So this one allows you to take the introductory marketing web analytics and concurrently with this advanced one. And you can see it starts to get into statistical models, regression, exporting the data out, using Tableau to create dashboards, and more A/B testing also as a component. This is another course, e-commerce and marketing automation. So here, basically, going to be building websites, fully functional e-commerce websites like Shopify, WordPress, but also marketing automation using HubSpot. And HubSpot is a big lead generation software that's used, has tie-ins to CRM, but in the digital space, it is a sub area that's pretty skilled. It also tends to be, much higher paying as a result. And you get certification while you're doing this course. Now, Well, this notice is now not valid, so the course does appear with the correct name, so I'll have to remove that. Uh, so the last thing I want to say is, as far as courses, is that you have in the degree plan for every track, there's a section that says you can choose any 3 semester credit hour MKT, BUON, or ITM MIS prefix elective course from any degree plan, even if it's not in our MS marketing, from any track or from any catalog year. So if there's something not here, but it's a course that's offered in JSOM, in this case from one of these areas, you can certainly take that course, okay? The one that we would say, and there's a few like this, not because there's anything wrong, but because there's a lot of duplicate content, is we have our own social media. The MIS ITM has a social media course, but ours is a lot more data driven. Theirs are more case studies, Harvard Business Review case studies. So we feel that ours is much more beneficial. It's taught by marketing faculty. And our web analytics has a lot more depth. The web analytics version in their course actually has SEO and PPC, and not enough to really make you proficient. And it is repetitive with some of our other courses. So those would be the only two that we suggest you probably not want to take as a free elective. Free doesn't mean no tuition, it just means kind of outside of the the listing of degree plans. Um, so once again, if you're unsure, don't do your own research. Look at the course syllabi, refer to this cheat sheet that we looked at earlier. Sorry, I have to go back a little bit tediously this way. But look at this sheet if you're not going to be taking some of these core courses. Um, And the other thing is just be aware that we're going to be having Monday through Friday again between April 3rd and 7th through Teams. You can see when these different sessions are going to be available. Okay, they'll make their availability appear on Calendly, which is a appointment scheduling thing, and you can just go and connect and ask some questions. Come and go. So kind of to wrap it up very quickly, doing an internship for domestic students, really the only reason you would want to do an internship instead of full-time, part-time work is if you want to reduce your course load, you can certainly use an internship. But that does mean you're giving up one course of knowledge of software that might be more beneficial than an internship for you. Uh, Domestic students must have completed 12 credit hours and at least one long semester to do an internship. International students, 12 credit hours and 2 long semesters, a spring and a fall, before they're eligible for an internship. Again, the cumulative GPA must be 3.0 for you to be able to do an internship. And it must be related to marketing. So if you find one in accounting or something like that, it will not be approved. We do have 1, 2, or 3 credit hours. We used to have a 0 credit hour. That's no longer available. Why would you have a 1 credit hour? Well, perhaps you have a job and it's not the best one, the best job offer. So maybe you do that one in one semester as 1 credit hour, and then you take another 1 credit hour in another semester, and then 1 credit hour in the next semester, or 1 and 2. So it allows you flexibility to have internships with different companies, not just one. And the number of hours that you work determines the credit hours. So if you're doing 40 hours per week, then you could not do the 1 credit hour. You'd probably be having to work like 20 hours to do a 1 credit hour. So once you get to this stage, we have webinars and information on what qualifies for what. Now, if you have a current job and you're a domestic student, if it's a new task that you're doing, like a project you've never done before, you can use that as an internship. Internships must be done in the semester you're working it. It can't be retroactive. We've had some students that get to the last semester and say, you know, I don't want to take so many courses. Can you use my work from last semester to this semester? And it's not allowed by the university. We have a lot of clubs. We're going to be promoting this every long semester. We send out a weekly newsletter and we list out all the different club meetings around the Dallas area. We've got a local chapter of the American Marketing Association, a lot of events, a lot of networking that takes place. There's an American Advertising Federation here in Dallas that has like 1,500 members. These are professionals, not students. A little, you know, higher dues than what you'll get if you're at a local college chapter. But, you know, it is an industry organization. A lot of luncheons, happy hours, things like that. So if you're in advertising, this is definitely a very good club. We have also a marketing analytics club here at UTD. And again, we send out event information, meetings, competitions that they may have out to our students. And I want to summarize this because it's important in terms of who to contact. So if you have any issues or problems with things like waivers, transfers, a course holder block, waiting list problems, you can't add or drop a course and you're about to graduate, advising is the office you need to contact. Anything that has to do with resumes, workshops, internships from start to finish, career fairs, LinkedIn workshops, that would be the Career Center. For us, program director and manager, it's topics like student engagement, competitions, mentoring, conferences, career advice, et cetera, et cetera. So keep this in mind. If you contact us about a course hold again or a block, there's just nothing we can do. So this guy can also help you save some time. And we put out this weekly newsletter, and this is where we put all the mentoring, competition, scholarship information. So do scan it. And again, we have videos and other information on how to pick a track or course. We highly recommend you attend Career Center events, MS Marketing events. Our Executive Leadership Council holds quite a few events throughout the year, so they're listed here in our newsletter. And definitely all the competitions and clubs and meetings they're going to be having are also in our newsletter. So again, to summarize, before I open it up for questions, we'll be sending you a link to this and all these supporting documents I mentioned by tomorrow morning. Please email us at MS Marketing. So with that, if anybody has any questions, please let me know.
You can type them or speak them aloud, whichever's easiest. If you type them, I will relay them to Professor Edsel.
Hi, sir.
Hello.
Yeah, actually, I have been admitted for a dual degree in MS in marketing and an MBA. I wanted to know if, like, if I had to choose a track over here, how will I involve my MBA courses to my particular track of choosing, and or is it just integrated in a particular track that I go ahead with?
Usually MBA students, because of this flexibility issue, pursue the marketing management track because it gives you the most flexibility, but you can be focused on digital or analytics courses of your choosing. So for MBA students, I would recommend just follow the marketing management track. It gives you the most flexibility.
All right, thank you.
Sure.
Hello, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
As an international student, can I do an internship during my first semester? Right
No.
now, I'm working. Right now, I'm working with my OPT, and I would like to continue. Well, being
Oh,
an intern.
now you're doing OPTA through another degree that
Yeah,
you're pursuing?
bachelor's. Yeah.
Okay. So that's one we don't come across very often. So the usual answer is no, but this is one we're going to have to contact ISSO, which is the international office, and make a inquiry about that. Okay. And Keith, can you make a note of that if that's possible? I think the answer is going to be no, but I
Yeah,
hate to.
I'm pretty sure the answer is no,
But
because
if you could
this is
find
under our
out.
auspices.
Yeah, I'm like, we're 95% sure, but not 100% sure. So we'll find out. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, who's asking this question? Because I can't see
On
everybody's name.
Andres, right?
Oh, sorry. My name is Cecilia Salazar.
Oh, okay.
All right. It's going to probably take a week or two to get an answer, but
Yeah, they're very busy right now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's now, are you starting officially in the summer or the fall?
Summer.
Oh, summer. Yeah, I
Yes.
can almost tell you then now I'm up to 99% no. Yeah. But we'll find out, and you can also reach out to them. We'll provide you too with the send us an email if you don't mind to MS Marketing,
Yeah.
telling us more details at the email, like what is exactly the name of the degree? Where are you is it at UT Dallas?
The one I pursued, my
The,
bachelor's
the
degree.
yeah.
No, Texas West.
Okay,
Texas
send us
Wesleyan.
that information, what college, what is your degree, what is the name of the company, what type of visa you're on. I guess it's an F1. So send us all
Yes.
that information, please, just as soon as possible. And we will send that over and let you know. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
yeah, I put the ISO email address out there for any international student. Now
In
that
the
you're all
chat
current
section
admitted
there.
students, it's in the chat. It's ISO current at utdallas.edu. Because you're all admitted now.
Any
Yes.
other, and
Also,
also
hi.
one thing, please use UTD email. If you email advising or ISSO with Gmail or Hotmail, they will not answer. They will tell you to resend it using your UTD email. You can always forward your UTD email, go to the area where you can forward emails to your Gmail or what have you, so that you're monitoring it. But absolutely must use UTD email or you waste a lot of time otherwise. Yes, there was another question.
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hi. So my question was, how soon can an international student start doing an on-campus job? If suppose if I'm starting my college in
Yeah,
summer
that
20.
that 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 can be in the first semester. Yeah, if it's an on-campus job, you
Okay,
can
sure.
apply for your in the first
Sure.
semester. Yes. Mhm.
Thanks a lot.
Sure. And that is probably the best option for international students. There's quite a bit of on-campus jobs. Other questions? So there's a lot of information. Again, it is overwhelming. You have some time to digest it. Again, you can't enroll in courses till April. And we highly recommend if you're going to apply for a waiver, you do so like today. Go to if you don't mind, Keith, maybe posting also the URL for advising, just so it's handier, and the place where they go to submit a waiver. As we're wrapping this up,
Yeah,
if not,
it'll give me a second.
yeah,
Yeah,
if not,
give me
if
a
not, we'll
second.
send it out. Yeah, go ahead and look for
I
it.
have to look it up.
And if not, we will send it out tomorrow with the rest of the information. So I'm going to actually stop sharing and we'll stop the
I'll stop the
recording
recording.
while you look for that.